Hi everybody, it's Anna from Kitten Cat Shop, and it's been a while since my face has been on camera. I know I said at the beginning of the year we wouldn't be doing any unboxings, and well, I'm here to break that promise. Back before Kitten Cat Shop, I had an Etsy store, and I had a lot of Flickr and Instagram accounts under a different name, Tiny16 World, and I was building dioramas using, well, 1/6 scale fashion dolls. And I was selling the patterns, and sometimes I would sell outfit coordinates and things like that that I had made. Well, 2019 came around and kind of got obsessed with the bigger dolls, but I never got rid of the majority of my fashion dolls. I kept my integrities, I kept my silkstones. Everybody knows I kept all of the Monster High Gen 1 Goulias. And I'm always on the lookout to add another that I might have missed in the original release for that. And about 2024, I really got into the blind box dolls, and most of those were 1/12 scale. They have started making 1/8 scale and 1/6 scale. And the newer dolls, some of them have rooted hair, some of them have wigs, some of them have inset eyes. Some of them are traditionally strung, just like our resin BJDs. And some are hinged, jointed, like some of the other Playline dolls. So, and I found myself kind of struggling a bit because Corey and I had been focusing almost exclusively on the big girls. And I missed some of the play with some of the smaller ones. And I've been experimenting. I've been making some dioramas for the very small blind box dolls. And that was a lot of fun. And I kind of remembered, hey, I used to do a lot of 1/6 scale dioramas and very elaborate ones. I still have stacks and stacks and stacks of bead organizers full of revamp miniatures and things like that. So in that earlier period between 2016 and 2019, Corey and I started working. He got interested in the dioramas, and he likes to tell stories. He's written a couple of books. They were available on some blog websites, that kind of thing. And I let him kind of into my little tiny 1/6 world. And I will start putting up some of those images, I think. The sites that originally had them, those accounts are, were kind of set aside, and just couldn't maintain all of that. So I think everything's just going to be under the Kitten Cat umbrella. But one of the projects we were working on was this entire series story of Aaron Deed. And it's kind of a pun, to err is human. And she had a whole backstory. She had friends. She had her own condo. She's got her own vehicle, her own hometown. And Corey really liked that character so much that our Fortitude smart doll became Erin. And Erin's story is she ended up becoming an intern for Kit and Kat for their shop. And we have a lot of script and plots and things like that we've kept. And recently we kind of came across that hard drive with all of that material. And I said, you know what? I want to bring back Aaron Dean and do all the things that we were going to do with Aaron before we got sidetracked with a lot of other projects and a lot of other ventures. And so I went digging, but I couldn't find Aaron, the original doll, the original made-to-move Barbie. And so I was like, well, what am I going to do? Because I need an Aaron. So I got a new Aaron. And she is actually a 2025 Barbie Basics number 4. And I believe this sculpt is Kayla or Leah. She's on the petite body. The original Aaron was a full-size, one of the original redheaded made-to-move yoga doll. But those are kind of expensive to buy now. I think the most recent offering that I saw, she was almost $100. And given what I remember what we did with those dolls, yeah, we put them in creeks, we put them in mud. I really didn't feel comfortable with spending that much for a doll that's, you know, gonna be in the wilds. So the Barbie Basics, she was on sale. If I can find a skin tone that matches, maybe she'll gain back a couple of inches. But we're just going to pretend that Erin has always been a petite. This sculpt is a little bit more mature looking than the original, and also fortitude. So we're kind of going along the lines of this is season 2. So got Erin. I have some of the old cast members from the original 1/6 plot point, but some of them have, you know, disappeared. There's constantly dolls coming in and out of this room, so I needed to replace some characters. So that sent me on a rabbit hole looking for specifically the made-to-move body, because that one had the best posability for the best price point. The silkstones, they can be brittle if they're dropped or that kind of thing. 1/6 scale BJDs, although I do have some, again, not comfortable taking a $300 doll out to a park to potentially sit it in mud. So the new Barbie Basics series came out, and they're all on the made-to-move bodies. And their price points, they're under $30. That was pretty good. I had recently found new homes for a couple of my larger dolls that I just wasn't playing or photographing. So kind of did a not quite an even swap, because these are a lot less even for all of these than one of the bigger dolls. And I ended up getting the whole series. I got this one. This is number 6, and she is the goddess sculpt, and I absolutely love this face. And I opened her right away, and then I couldn't make up my mind, but I did want at least one curvy, and there was one curvy in the series. And so I got 09, and she's the Tamika sculpt. And so they're out of the box. I still haven't done anything with their hair or anything like that. I just put them on their stand, put them on the shelf. So that led to these. And I thought, well, you know what? I was impatient and I opened those already. But if you were contemplating these, I figured I'd go ahead and open these, and I will set up the overhead so we can get really close to them and kind of take a look at them. So we'll see what we got. I've got the blonde, number 7. I got the one boy, the one male, number 10. And I also got number 8. Number 8 is a replacement for the same sculpt, basically the same doll. I think her skin tone might be a little different, but she is very much like one of the original darker skin tones for the yoga dolls, the original yoga dolls that had the floral leggings. So, and I'm going to say this right off the bat, and Mattel's probably going to be mad at me, but I kind of feel we got catfished for the boy. I'll put the blonde over here. So, his photography for his pre-release and the photography for his box shows him with a wave, but it's in an undercut, which is no longer flocked. I guess that flocking and the glitter is a no-no now. But just like a little curl over one eyebrow. And very much reminded me of the rooting for some of the Integrity boys. They're models, the men. And I thought, I can work with that. And almost every single one that I have seen anyone else show on their Instagram or YouTube or TikTok, and mine, they all come with the broccoli cut. That's nothing like swoopy hair. That's not swoopy hair. That's Gen Z broccoli cut, and I'm not feeling it. I'm sorry. I'm old, apparently, but yeah, I'm not feeling the broccoli cut. So, after I take them out of the box and we look at them up close, and I'm gonna move their joints because I've heard they have made some changes to the body and the material, especially the hands. This young lady needs a spa day because she's got crinkly hair, like, you know, Series 1 and Series 2 Rainbow High. Remember how bad that was? Yeah, and all the curls in the back have been completely flattened, so there's just nothing to do with this. I think Erin here is going to get a condition rinse because the top and front of her hair is fine, but the back is getting a little frizzy since she was taken out of the box. So I think a condition rinse will help kind of smooth that out. It's done wonders for other dolls that I've done it with. Our lovely lady here has got tape in her hair. I don't remember seeing that in the box, but that's interesting. The goddess sculpt, I really love the makeup on this one. But again, same issue. Smooth at the front, but the back is starting to frizz a little bit and feels dry. So I'm going to do that. We're going to see if we can boil wash his so we can get something that's more like the advertised version. And our lovely lady with the bun, I have already seen her with somebody took the bun out. She just has a short haircut, so she may actually end up getting a little bit of a trim as a bob rather than this ponytail, because this ponytail will not last with what I end up doing with them. I mean, if you're just going to take her out of the box and display her, she'll be fine. You can dust it. But putting on and off clothes and things like that. I know that these dolls are actually made so that you can take the heads off. Because we used to do that when they first came out with the made-to-move Barbies. We would take the cheap fashionistas that were $10 and the yoga Barbies, which were at that time I think $15, and we would do a lot of Franken Barbies. So, but these are actually made. I think the idea is you can mix these with the creator, but none of the skin tones match the creators. So, and then this lovely lady, her hair looks more curly on her box, but the stuff that she's got is so frizzy. and it kind of reminds me of the bags of doll hair we used to get in the 80s and 90s, and would just like mash and glue onto wooden doll heads and stuff. I mean, it's gnarly stuff, and yeah, no. So she's gonna get a couple of boil washes. I don't want to take all of the curl out of her hair, but I have seen that after a couple of boil washes and some gel, I can get something that's a little bit more wave, or almost like a crimp look, rather than the frizzy. I mean, this isn't even a nice on the AAs, as they call them, on the darker skin tone dolls with the afros. They actually do a pretty decent job. I mean, you don't really want to comb it out. You just, but this just looks like a frizzy mess just looking inside the window of the box. So that's just not going to work. She's definitely going to have something done. So I'll see you guys in the... I should be able to bring things up to the camera so you can see a better look. And like I said, this is going to be our Erin. And the original Erin was redheaded with lots of freckles. And she's redheaded with lots of freckles. I like the blue eyes. I think the original one I modified so that they were more of a green. And as you can tell, the hair on the bottom doesn't get a lot of attention when it's in the back of the box, but there she is. And her outfit I actually ended up picking up on Amazon. You could get 3 of them. The little off-shoulder dress. It comes with a pair of generic shoes, kind of like a pair of tennis shoes, black stockings, and they had a neutral set. So I have this tan, I got a gray, and then she's wearing the ivory. And it was actually a pretty good deal. $10 for 3 complete outfits. I don't know if I'll actually be using the black stockings. I'm kind of worried about staining. But that's not bad. No. That's $3 a dress, and it's a lot better looking than some of the printed clothing that the Playline dolls come in. So. And then for this series, the first one I got was the number 6, and that is the Goddess Face sculpt. And like I said, I've already opened her. I really love the gold metallic, and I like her eyebrows. I like that they have a good neutral face. It's not too much of a smile. So, and she has this little wraparound top. And the skirt's not much. It's just an elastic waist skirt. Lame. But it is hemmed on the bottom. So that's better than you get in the Playline. The shoes are cute. I like the little wedge heels. And they actually seem to fit her feet pretty well. Let's see if I can get closer. You can see they actually seem to fit her feet pretty well. Usually with these type of heels, there'll be some gap or that. So, not bad. And then the second one I got and couldn't wait to open is the Tamika sculpt. And I really like this one, guys. Let's see if we can get her close. There's no pixelation. I like the brown eyes. I like the slightly more arched eyebrows. I like the lip color. I like the skin tone a lot too. And I have to say, I really like this facial sculpt because, you know, the same features, they don't alter their features. So it's just a doll in a darker skin tone. But I love her features. She kind of reminds me almost, a slightly different face shape, but to me, she kind of reminds me of the RuPaul doll that they did. I mean, I really love, she's got kind of a haughty look to her. She comes in this little elastic waist, shapeless A-line dress. It is hemmed. Her shoes, she has a little pair of strap shoes. These appear to be a new mold for shoes, which is good because lately it seems Mattel's been recycling a lot of molds rather than getting new items. So I'm going to take number 8 out of her box and we'll see what she looks like. And now we have number 8 out of the box, and she is the Billy Sculpt. They've used this one quite a bit. She's kind of common among the yoga and the active dolls too, but she's still pretty. It's interesting, the eye shape, because this doll usually has a much more open eye. It almost gives the effect that she's got a little bit of a puffy under her eye, which is interesting, because the screening doesn't exactly match the sculpt with the different face. I do like the lip color. It's a different shade. There's a little bit of pearlescent to this line's lip color, but I'm okay with it. The shoes, they've done these little gladiator strappy shoes before, but it looks like they have updated it a little bit. The heel shape, and instead of a pointed toe, we have more of a ballet toe. The dress is okay. It's kind of a generic stretchy tube dress with the collar, you know, the idea. So I like the earrings. I like the kind of bone ivory looking earrings. Okay, this is kind of weird. It looks like her rooting might be off over her ear. If you can see, there's paint here. And it's covered here. So I am glad that I'm going to be taking this down, kind of, because that'll cover that kind of weird hairline. It is hard. Okay, so that's number 8. I did notice something kind of odd. Okay, so I've bought a lot of the black signature, pink, etc. and the black label, pink label. These are supposed to be black label. And I noticed something when I was looking for, trying to identify the other two. I think this might be the model number here. But everything else on here is just generic and the same as the other two dolls. I think they're cutting back on printing costs and design costs by just having the certificate of authenticity be the same for all of these dolls with the updated copyright. Okay, so that was number 8. We've got number 7, Miss Frizzy here, and yeah, it's bad. It must have been very humid that day. So I'll go ahead and unbox her, and then we'll see what she looks like. Now we have number 7, and number 7 is the Victoria sculpt. I'll bring her closer so you can see her. Again, I am happy that these are the traditional decals, not the pixelated ones. I was really worried with the $30 price tag, considering how much the dolls' prices have gone up. This is kind of odd. So some of the dolls have the regular made to move kind of hard vinyl hands. Some of them have a rubbery hand. Tamika's got this very rubbery hand. It's very strange. So, and on the hard hand, the fingers aren't very defined. It's very wide here, like there's material that shouldn't be here. It honestly looks like they made a mold of a mold and somehow ended up, if you can see this, let's see if I can get it closer, but see this? There's material here that I don't think should be here. Yeah. So, again, we have a pair of shoes that are an updated mold with a little bit more detail, but very much like an earlier shoe. I actually have a pair of red shoes like this from like a 1980s Barbie. So, you know, fashion, everything comes back around, right? But they're kind of cute. Clunky platform. I am kind of slightly disappointed in the fact that Mattel has basically done away with any painted details on the accessories. I do like the kind of faux tortoiseshell hoops, but this hair, is this a hairnet? Oh yeah, okay, this is so frizzy I couldn't tell there was a hairnet on it, honestly. Yeah, it's not better taking the hairnet off. Oh, this is, you poor thing. I think this has gotten stuck on her earring. Yeah, this is not gonna get better. Yeah, she getting a boil wash. This is, and some conditioner. Now, when I say conditioner, usually what I mean is I actually got some wig shampoo and wig conditioner, and I also have a styling spray, and it's actually meant for human wigs, synthetic or natural hair, and it does really well on this stuff in getting rid of this frizz and helping to define the curls if you try to keep them, because you can just rinse that conditioner through. It's an anti-static, and it kind of leaves a nice coating so that, you know, you can go through it. But yeah, I think she'll actually be better if it's just kind of crimped rather than trying to make this a thing. But she's got lots of it in there. So she's got this little tan top, Velcro in the back. The pants kind of read pajama bottoms. I don't mind the print. I really don't. The Barbie Basics, the BB, that's kind of cute with the chain. Kind of reminds me of Fendi. But these were supposed to be fashion dolls, right? I don't know of any high fashion person that's going to be wearing a pair of high-waisted, elastic-waisted pajama pants. There's not even pockets in here. And you guys know how I feel about pockets. Pockets have to work. And there's no pockets. There's no side seam. It's literally just, it's pajama bottoms. Come on. So, I like the doll. The outfits are meh. And so, but yeah, it actually took some of her hair out. Oh, this is terrible. And I did verify the certificates are all exactly the same. The number in the corner is exactly the same. There are not individual certificates for each doll in the series. It's just the same one for every doll. So I assume Broccoli Head is going to be the same, and we're going to open him next. Guys, I'm going to apologize. I'm kind of spoiled because I kind of feel that the early 2010s were probably the best dolls ever. The screenings, the clothing, the styling, the pieces that you would get for a $30, $40 price range. And if you bumped up and got something that was like I had the basics, I think they called them looks. I think that was the original series that was like this with the basic items. I had the red Target exclusives that had the same outfits but in red and white. They came out with additional accessories that matched the dolls, purses, jewelry, shoes, some fantastic pieces. The shoes had painted details. The jewelry was great. And I know everybody says Mattel makes dolls for kids, but these are supposed to be collector dolls. Black Label was supposed to be not the high end, not the play line, but something that even an older teen could enjoy. And that this line is supposed to be basic dolls with the idea that you will redress them, make them fancier. At least that's what used to be the original line. And I got spoiled. I admit this, I got spoiled. I got him mostly because I wanted to make sure I had a jointed doll, because I wanted to be able to pose and move, and unfortunately this line only came with one guy. Only one, not two, just one. We have a elastic waist that's turned over, so it's not the embroidered stitched hem, so it's kind of bulky. These are basically long boxer shorts, you know, PJ bottoms. His shirt is hemmed. It's that, again, it's that really synthetic jersey knit. And I'm sure that's because that's the easiest material to do this printing on. He's got partial Velcro in the back, which, I don't know if you can see this, but as someone who sews, this is, the Velcro doesn't go all the way down. They cut the material to know where to put the Velcro, but this part has been folded in farther than it should have, so we have a very weird pleat that goes down the back of the shirt. So, yeah. The back of the knees on the boys looks really odd. He's got mandals. You know, his little scuffy. I'm going to call these shower shoes, because they remind me of the shoes I had to buy my son when he went to college for the dorms. Here, I'm going to move her out. They remind me of the shoes he had to have for the showers for the dorms, the little Adidas and that. He gets a bracelet, but this hair, let's see if you can hear. It's a crunchy. And I guess this is supposed to be a fade on the undercut. He's basically got a mohawk. They gave him a very, very, very curly mohawk. So it's rooted straight across the front. I don't know if I'll be able to get a side or middle part out of this. And it's not a consistent length. The curls have been cut in the middle back here. Okay, I want to try to explain something. So instead of ending the hair at the end of a curl, if you can see this one, this is the end of a curl, right? They have cut this in the middle, so it's not curled, it's not straight, it's just to kind of sticking out there, kind of a weed whacker. I mean, look, this piece right here in the rooting is there's no going to be no styling that. That's just going to stick straight out, because it's like maybe 1/8 of an inch. Not even 1/4 of an inch. Maybe 3/16 of an inch. There's no way. Yeah. And, you know, they really should have rooted beyond this mold number, because this is the bad. I'm going to see if boil washing we can at least maybe get something out of this. It's just getting worse. The bigger I do it, the bigger it gets. His hair is twice as tall as his head. I do have some flocking, so even if they're not doing flocking anymore, I believe I have some flocking that even matches this hair color, or I can blend some, so he won't look. I can give him some more sideburns, because I think this is too high up. yeah, you can see he's had a lot of hair fall. This is all, ew. I'm not going to tell you what it looks like, but it doesn't look like it's coming from the top of his head. Oh, yep, just pulled. Yeah, because the curls have just been like cut in the middle. That piece is straight, and he just lost some hair, and the more I'm playing with it, the more I have little curly hair all over my mat. So Mattel, I like his sculpt. You did a really nice job on his face. Okay, I like his decal because it's not a screening. There's no pixelation. I like his eyebrows, but this, you know, I've had Playline fashionista dolls that had more work put into the clothing than this. This is, yeah. I get that I'm paying for the articulated body, and I knew that. But guys, this is not same. I'm sorry, it's not. The neckline on the promo, this is, if you can see this neckline, it's, the stitches are too long, and it looks like some of them skipped on the back. Yeah. This is just, he gonna take a lot of work, guys. So, what do I like about the series? I like the palette. I do like the neutrals palette. Here, I'm going to kind of zoom out just a little bit so you can see all of them. I like the palette. I like the concept. I do like the screenings on the faces. I think they're pretty good. Victoria's eyes seem like there might be just a little high when you look at the side. Her cheekbone is very defined, and you can see a curve. Let's see if you can see here. Come on. There you go. And if you look at the side, you can see the eye is just a little bit higher. Maybe only a millimeter or two. But from the side, you can see that the eye is not quite where it should be. And I think that's because I think the face decals, the screening, was designed, but it was, the sculpt was not, the sculpt and the screening were not designed at the same time. I think the mold existed, and then they made a face that kind of fit it. If you look at her, you can see the eyes were meant to be taller, wider, more wide open. So it actually gives her a bit of a puff under her eye. So I like the designs. I like the sculpts they chose, because I admit I'm really not feeling the Millie face or the newer one. I didn't want smiling dolls. I wanted something neutral. So, plus, I like the sculpts they chose. I like that they're not pixelated. I like that for the most part the makeup is good and neutral, i.e. naturals. I like the shoes. I like 4 out of 5. I'm not feeling the shower shoes. My biggest disappointments is not the hair itself. I think that's a really good material. I like the feel of it. I'm disappointed in the application. Our blonde, it feels rushed. Let's just put the hair in the doll head, brush it tight back, and just, you know, cover it with a hairnet, because it's, this is, see how it just mats down? And there's no way to really style this. I mean, all the ends look burnt and frizzy. So They just jammed the hair in the head and said, let's call it a day. This is a crime against Mother Nature. You know, it would have been better if they gave us molded hair than this. Because like I said, this is not this. I could have worked with this. There's no way I can make this out of this. There's just not. It's no. The clothes, this one's probably the best made outfit of the lot. This simple off-shoulder collared dress. I do kind of like the idea and concept of this wrap shirt, but given this line right here, I think there was a better way to execute it. It's weird that she's got square tape underneath it, but the pajamas, the elastic waist skirt, the pajama bottoms. Guys, this was just like the cheapest, easiest to make clothing, other than the not actually fabric printed on outfits of the play line. So Mattel, you've done better. You can do better. You can do better at this price point. If I can get a blind box doll with a completely fabric outfit with ruffles and socks and painted shoes and rooted hair, etc. for $25, you guys can do better than this for $30, $35. So I did not buy these to be part of a collection. I bought these to be cast members. So they're all going to get customized. They're all going to get redressed. They're all going to get their spa day to try to improve the texture of the hair and restyling. So I don't feel bad because I knew what I was kind of getting into. I knew what I was going to do with these dolls. So I just needed basic dolls. But if you were buying these because you wanted to add to your collection, yeah, I would be about 50-50 on this set, honestly. She's a common sculpt. The face, the hairstyle, it's the yoga Barbie. I like Tamika's face. I really do. I like it. If you want that head, get this doll. And it's a curvy, so I like that. I think the best doll out of this one is probably the goddess sculpt. And the hilarious part is this is not a new sculpt and not a new doll. It's, the goddess sculpt has been around for a while. It was used in that heyday, those dolls that we got with the fantastic outfits, and on that kind of, it wasn't the Model Muse body, but it was an articulated body. It was just a hard plastic body, not the made to move. So, but that's my opinion. I've rambled on. I'll probably edit down some of this. I am going to try to get some photography of them as they come and then after they've been restyled. So stick around. That's going to be at the end of this video. Okay. Until next time, guys. Have a great day.